Pan-African solidarity with the people of Sudan. And my name is Rose Ostamba, and I coordinate East African engagement as the regional organizer. And we have amazing team of Sudan people who will be sharing with us the perspectives in terms of what is happening, what has been done so far, where else can we complement, what should we do as Africans? Because again, this is an African issue that requires African solutions. So I'm going to take this time to actually give our panelists 1 minute each to introduce themselves, and then we can go to the next agenda before, we get to the main discussion of the day. And just to tell you, kindly feel free to type on the chat box which country you are connecting from, and of course, we'll be sending shout outs. You can ask questions, clarifications, and don't forget to follow us on Facebook at Africans Rising, Instagram Africans Rising, and on LinkedIn Africans Rising, and on X Africans Rising. So I'm going to call our first panel, Mr. Ricardo Kakrop, who works with the UNHCR, to just introduce himself. And then we'll get back to him when you officially start having the conversations. Kak?
Thank you, and Rose. Okay, now you call yourself and so you take Rose out. Thank you. Okay, yes, my name is Kak Roth, and I'm from the Republic of South Sudan. Of course, I work with UNHCR as a youth peace building coordinator in United States, Sudan. Thank you.
Thank you, Kak. I don't know whether it's me or your voice is a little bit away, so if you could work on that before we get to you. And I didn't take Rose out, it's still there. So yeah, I think it's Maurice who decided to name me Anosamba and removed Rose. We now call Miss Zamzam Mohammed from Sudan. Miss Zamzam, if you could introduce yourself in 1 minute. Zamzam, can you hear us? Maurice, I can see Zamzam, but her microphone is off. Can you help me? I think as Zamzam is sorting out her microphone, I'm just going to read a few shouts before I move to the next session. So, greeting all from South Sudan via Kenya. This is Bio Garang. My love and prayers, the people of Sudan. Hi, I am Ilman, Sudanese, joining from Germany. Yeah, thank you very much. So allow me to move to the next session because I cannot hear Zamzam. And the next session, I'm going to introduce Ansel, who is going to tell us why we are here and why we are doing what we are doing, and pretty much what the African Rising movement does around, Pan-African solidarity. And also just to mention that we have language interpretations. Just click on the interpretation icon, and then you'll be able to choose a language of your choice, Francais, Portuguese, or any other language. Ansel, please, you have the floor. My apologies.
All right. Good afternoon, good morning, dear Africans. And it's indeed a great pleasure to have all of you here. I see so many people joining in as the seconds go by. So my name is Ansel Langwa, and I am the Engagement and Collaboration Lead for Africans Rising. And today I'm going to be talking on behalf of Hadi Yakubu, who unfortunately cannot make it today, the movement coordinator. So why are we here? I think let me just start with a little information about what Africans Rising is for those who are only getting to know about us now. So Africans Rising is a Pan-African movement of people and individuals working for unity, justice, peace, and dignity. And Africans Rising is considered a people's movement. Africans Rising was formed way back in 2016. And last year, in August 2022, we went to Arusha, Tanzania, which is the same place where Africans Rising was formed, to evaluate the mandate of Africans Rising and see how far we have gone, 5 years after. And one of the main things that we discussed as a result, deliberations and some of the take-home messages that we had, or take-home action points that we had, at the All African Movement Assembly in Arusha, Tanzania last year, was that we should form the Pan-African Solidarity Network. And I mean, this is amongst others, because one of the others is the Borderless Africa. There are many of you who have already encountered us, and have been a part of our Borderless Africa campaign. And we also have our One Currency campaign. And so what we're doing today is a fulfillment of, one of those things, which is the Pan-African Solidarity Network. And what does this mean? Pan-African Solidarity Network simply means that we as Africans, I can see so many people introducing themselves. I see people say, I'm from Kenya, I'm from Sudan, I'm from Uganda, I'm from Cameroon, I'm from Nigeria. So there's people from all over Africa. And what we are trying to do with the Pan-African Solidarity Network is to build the spirit of Ubuntu, that we exist because as Africans, because other Africans indeed exist. And, what we want is that the struggles of Africans in one African country should indeed be the same struggle of another African in another country. What we want is that Africans all over the continent, and even Africans living in the diaspora, should stand in solidarity with their fellow Africans when they are faced in crisis situations, when they are faced in difficult situations. And I think one of our pilot programs is the Pan-African Solidarity Action for Sudan. I would not overemphasize on what is happening in Sudan. And I know that later on, Anne will be talking with our panelists to talk about like the current context of what's happening in Sudan. But we know that the situation in Sudan, the crisis in Sudan, has led to over 4,000 deaths. It has led to over 7.1 million displacements. We have Sudanese living in neighboring countries in East Africa as refugees. And we don't want to also talk about the number of women and children that have been greatly affected by the ongoing conflict in Sudan. So Africans Rising therefore decided that it was important for us in building Pan-African solidarity to start this Pan-African Solidarity Action for Sudan. And what does this mean? This means we would like to raise funds, would like to collect, most importantly, materials, physical items from countries. Now we're starting, first of all, with countries in the East African region, because these are closer to Sudan. And we're trying to collect these materials so that we can offer support to these our fellow Africans. We can be in solidarity with them. We're not doing aid, we're doing solidarity, because if we know that our brothers and sisters in Sudan are not okay, then therefore, irrespective of where we find ourselves on the continent, we too are not okay. So I'd like to thank everyone who decided to take out the time to be part of this launch. And I believe that with Africans like you, we definitely are on the path to get into the Africa that we want. Thank you, Anne, and over to you.
Thank you so much, Ansel, for that introduction and background. And I think it's easier now for people to understand what we are doing and why we are doing this, especially those who are joining the Africans Rising movement for dignity and justice for the first time. And I am going to try and check again with Zamzam. Zamzam, are you able to speak now? If you could unmute and just introduce yourself, then I'm going to move to Kak after you. I really don't know what is happening with Zamzam's Maurice, you can help me with that. So, Kirk, over to you, brother, and I am going to ask you to tell us the context. Of course, we've heard about what has been happening in Sudan, the crisis between the two parties, and we know there are quite a number of interventions that have come in place. If you could just tell us maybe the current context, probably for the last 1 month, 2 months, I would say, and that would help all of us understand what is currently happening. So maybe give a brief overview of what has been happening in the last 1 month and any possible interventions that have been undertaken so far. You have the floor, leadership.
Thank you very much. Are you getting me well?
Yes, now you're slightly better. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. First of all, I would like to acknowledge the presence of all the participants joining us from various parts of Africa. And also would like to thank the organizer for, bringing this into the frame of the use in order to talk about the concern regarding the situation in Sudan. Of course, for the last 1 month, we have seen that there is a little bit progress, seen the getting out of the chairman of the Supreme Council of the Sudan, touring the neighboring countries, trying to galvanize the support in the effort that would lead into the negotiation. So we have seen that there is still a little bit of skirmishing within the Khartoum. Two parties to the conflict are still engaging in the fight. But within the last month, it at least the two sides are refraining from each other because it was not hot like the way it started. So it basically now the fight is in some of the places. The development that actually taken by General Brand is very important for engaging the neighboring countries to see what is their views about the conflict in Sudan. So what I can see from all these neighboring countries, especially Egypt and South Sudan, what they are trying to say to General Brand is that there is no winner in war, only the negotiation. And in fact that, all of you have seen that the General Brand has participated in the UN General Assembly. So this is an implication that there is still a push for the negotiation of the two sides of the conflict. And in other interventions, all of us have heard that the IGAD, African Union, US, Saudi-led negotiation are trying very hard in order to bring both sides of the conflict to the negotiation table. Although IGAD and EU has not influenced the situation on the ground, but there is still yet a push factor in order to bring both sides to the conflict on the negotiation table. But we are currently facing some of the issues of Kenya being supporting one side or the others, according to the news that we always hear from social media. But these things are actually being now taken by the states that are neighboring to the Sudan, because now the spell of the conflict will be felt by Egypt, South Sudan, Chad, and Ethiopia. So like the way now South Sudan is experiencing the influx of the refugees, the same thing to Egypt, Ethiopia. So there will be an effort of the IGAD, African Union, plus the Saudi-led negotiation in order to bring both sides to the conflict on the negotiation table. So in those efforts, we are trying to first calm down the parties to the conflict to have a ceasefire, because we cannot go to the negotiation table without first finding the issue out there. Like the way now they used to give the maximum of hours for the humanitarian corridors to pass and all this. So we need a permanent ceasefire so that we can have a common ground whereby we can put into the table our grievances. So these are the things that actually are happenings on the ground here in Sudan. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kirk, especially for making a recommendation in terms of having a permanent ceasefire and contextualizing what is really happening, even in terms of fragmented efforts towards conflict transformation, because different countries, like different sides have different countries as their allies. I think that was very important because it then sets the basis of this conversation. And maybe just a follow-up question, Kirk, what can be done in terms of complementing the efforts? I understand that you shared the IGAD and the AU has been trying to put in some effort together with humanitarian organizations such as the one you work for, probably UNHCR. But as Africans rising and general as African, what other efforts do you think we can do to complement what is already being done on the ground? And that efforts could come in different forms, and it would be nice if you share with us what you consider more priority, even in terms of the efforts. Kirk.
Basically, this conflict of Sudan, this is not the first time, but now people are so surprised because it happened in Sudan. Darfur had been facing all these kind of conflicts for decades, and there is no one talking about. So in order for us to resolve the conflict, and therefore that we need to put as a regions or as a continent, is that there are, we need to find the root cause. We need to bring the civil society on board. We need to call the political force and those military generals, because now it is not necessary to call these two generals to come and negotiate on the table. So the hierarchy of the decision are the people of Sudan, not two generals. What I could see that could be a successful effort is that let us call the civil society of Sudan, let us call the political force, let us negotiate and find a solution to the conflict in Sudan, because these two generals this is just like, a personal issue between them. And also as a neighboring states, especially like Egypt, South Sudan, Ethiopia, we could have our own effort by convincing the both sides to the conflicts, because I believe that they have an alliance within this neighboring state. So it is very important that engaging these two generals, engaging the civil society organization, engaging the political force, this could be the way to sustain peace in Sudan. Without that, there will be no any sustainability in terms of peace. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Kirk. And I mean, you're raising very critical concerns here in terms of a multi-sectorial approach towards, this challenge or crisis that we are rather facing, and then a holistic approach in terms of having everybody on board, the civil society, because again, this is a political process and we need everybody to be part of the negotiation table. And I think one of the things for me that I would really like to emphasize is a statement you made in terms of, Sudan is bigger than the two generals. And I think that's a good place to stop at. Please don't go far. I will definitely come back to you. And I think I'm going to open the floor now for, a few people to comment before I am able to get Zamzam. So just before I give you the floor, I would like to read something that Zamzam texted me on WhatsApp. And it's regarding the context of Sudan, where she's saying, after the UN Security Council 78th session, it's clear the world has agreed in one voice to stop the war in Sudan. And now the situation and intensity of the fighting is cooled down, and some government institutions have resumed working, including the banking system. So I think that's some good feedback in terms of post-conflict reconstruction, because we are talking about, banking systems working, even though we cannot overlook the impact of what the conflict has left. And because this is a conflict that has escalated and now looking for a permanent solution, not just one stopgap measure of probably ceasefire. And I am going to give an opportunity to two people maybe, and I had some two hands. Could you please raise your hand so that I see you? I had some two hands. Then I don't know where they went. Did you guys drop down your hands? Please raise your hands. But also, as I wait for them, I'm going to read something else in the chat box. Somebody is saying, hello, Ricardo, good point there. However, how will the CSO be engaged, considering after the war started, the oil ran and left the people on their own? Okay. So that's just food for thought. Ansel, I am really struggling to see the hands. Could you help me? Yes, I see a hand from Enam Al-Nur Mohammed. Yeah. Enam, you can open your microphone and share your thoughts.
Enam, unmute yourself. You've been given permission to talk.
I don't know what is happening to people's
Yeah.
internet. Do
If
we
Enam
have somebody?
hear us, she just needs to unmute herself. She has been given
Yeah.
permission to talk, so she just needs to unmute herself.
Let's
Okay.
let's move to another person.
Okay.
Okay, try to unmute. Okay. Do we have somebody else? Okay,
Yes, I
Sohiel.
think we have Sohel, yes.
Yeah, please go ahead, Sohel.
Yes, good afternoon, good morning, and good evening for all my beautiful African brothers and sisters, wherever you are. I wonder, can you hear me well? I am not hearing a response. So
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay, very
Proceed.
good. Thank you very much, dear Ansel. Okay, so I am an African. I am Sudanese, and on behalf of my country and my people, I really like to extend my warm regards and my sincere love to each and all of you, my beautiful brothers and sisters. So I just wanted to say quickly, I really want to thank you all and want to thank my dear brother Kak. But I want to shed some light, if you don't mind, being a Sudanese, about the problem in my country. So is it a war between two generals, or does it have something else? Because like dear Annie said, it has to be multi-sectorial approach and a holistic approach. So, and then if we want to find the root causes, like being said before, then we have to dig deep and see exactly where the roots of the problems are coming from. So not to spend more time, I would like to tell you that the current war seems to be between a military led by the head of the military council, General Al-Burhan, and his vice, who is the head of the rapid support forces, who is also a general who was put, and even as a sect of the army was created by the ousted president, Omar al-Bashir. So now, as for us who are Sudanese, we definitely know that what is going on, it's far more than a war between two. So why am I saying that? Because like I said, for a holistic point of view, we have to know exactly what's happening so that any remedies will be more effective. So this is the root causes. Now, there are several things that can be said here. First of them is that Sudan, when before the secession of South Sudan, our beloved South Sudan in 2011, Sudan was the biggest country on Africa. So Africa's area is 11.2 million square miles. When Sudan was one, it was 1 over 11.2 of the whole African continent. So at that time, it was 53 countries, but Sudan and current days South Sudan, they were together, they were 1 million square miles out of the area of 11.2. Now you can imagine the vast amount of resources that are contained in our country, whether be it oil, gold, uranium. You dream of it. You don't only mention, you dream of it, you'll find traces of it. Lately, there have been also traces of diamond in parts of southwestern Sudan. So not to mention that the coming war is going to be the war in concerning with food security. And we have the River Nile, and we have over 210 million acres, 210 million acres which can feed the whole of Africa and maybe even the Middle East. Now, this brings me to another thing. Where does Sudan lie? Sudan lies geographically in East Africa. So we are an East African country. But because of the huge amount of resources, we have been politically abducted and kidnapped. And now in some places, it is referred to as a North African country. And sometimes it's even referred to as part of the MENA region, which is Middle East, North Africa. But this is another issue. But this is why we should also focus so as to know what exactly is going on. Now, behind each of the two generals, there are external countries like United Arab Emirates, like Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, like Russia, like America, like Israel, like some of the bordering countries. I'm very sorry to say, even Egypt is part of it, which most of them are moved and motivated by greed in our country and in a bigger picture in our continent. So I thank you very much for this Pan-African rising movement. And I'd like also, as a literature, maybe we can move on later in our spare times and look at the map of the new Middle East, which is a map that have been developed in the 60s and even printed in journals in the 70s, the 1970s, in which you will find, if you just Google, in the Google search, you wrote Bernard Lewis, new Middle East map, and then you write Sudan, you'll find from over 50 years ago, or even more than that, that Sudan was supposed to be divided to four countries, which is already the south is not there, and Darfur was supposed to be the second one, and then you'll have. I'm a Nubian, so I'm an African, but my part in Sudan is Northern Sudan as a Nubian. So this should also be like another country, and then we'll be left with Khartoum and its surrounding as a fourth country. So in the political colonialist literature, we'll be having Sudan divided to four countries, just like Egypt divided to 5 countries. But Egyptians are, at least until now, they are one. But Sudanese, because we keep on fighting, I'm very sorry to say that, but we have to touch on the wound, because we are fighting each other, then the infiltrators are able to separate us. And that is why I'm very happy, because you here, guys, you are at the bigger picture. You are the one home that we call Africa. Inside this one home, we have several rooms, one of them in Sudan. Unfortunately, in the room of Sudan, we have people inside the same room who are fighting each other. So one of the main questions would be, how can this movement incorporate other more Sudanese people so that to try, I can't say educate, but to enlighten them more about the bigger colonialist picture, because like I've said, just to give you an example, in some of the economic and political journals, it's been the war of the Russians against Ukraine. Russians were able to continue, and they were not affected by the international embargo against them, whether it be by the West and Americans, because of its reserve of gold. Now, it's been said, and I'm not sure about, but that's what I've read in one of the articles, it's been said that the gold reserve of Russia is almost like 650 tons. Now, the American intelligence, or some of the European intelligence, I'm really not sure, I can't be sure now because that was a few time ago. So it's been said that at least 1/3 of the Russian reserve of gold is being smuggled out of Sudan. So, and now this is the same Russia that is now doing in the BRICS, and we African countries are following it, and it is fine as long as it's going to also serve our and benefit our people and our countries, it is fine. But we have to know that the same Russia that has been smuggling things in Sudan, the same Russia is backing up General Al-Burhan from the army, And also at the same time, through United Arab Emirates and other countries, I'm very sorry to say the names of the countries, but we have to be, we have, like I've said, we have to touch on the wound, so that we know the amount and the extent of width that we have to cure. So what I was saying, sorry, yes, please go ahead, sorry. Someone was talking, is there anything?
So here, sorry, please go ahead and wind up. Thank you.
Oh, okay. So what I was saying, I'll make it quick. Some foreign countries, and unfortunately some African countries, are fueling the war in our country. So this is also another part that we have to tackle on. An example I've just said about the foreign countries is like Russia, which is backing the military general Al-Burhan, and at the same time providing the general of the RSF, Rapid Support Forces, General Hemeti, also providing it with weapons and artillery through United Arab Emirates. And so you can see it's a foreign country which is backing up the two. But why is it doing that? And this is a question. I leave it for you. And the answer is simple. It's greed and trying to put to grab our African resources instead of having it left throughout the whole past decades to the West and to the old colonialists. So now we are having something like new colonialism with new players who are trying to seemingly at the surface be benefiting us, but at the same time, just I'll give you an example. We all have heard about what has happened in our sister country, Niger. So Niger, the ousted president, Mohamed Bazoum, is the cousin of the General Hemeti, who is one of the two generals having war in Sudan. So he's the general and the commander-in-chief of the Rapid Support Forces. His cousin is Mohamed Bazoum, who's been ousted by the Niger people. So in Sudan, the Rapid Support Forces is being backed up by Russia, and now the new people who are in power in Niger are also powered by Russians. And so you can see. So here in Sudan, Russia is backing a cousin, and in Niger, Russia is backing is against the cousin of that in Sudan. So it's merely a play for what's in it for me. So usually the West have something called WIFM, WIIFM, what's in it for me. So it's nothing about democracy, it's nothing about brotherhood, nothing about solidarity, it's purely greed. So having said that, I also want to say the third party, which is also have been playing in Sudan. So it's not we as Sudanese, at least I can't speak about whole Sudan, but me and a vast majority of the people I know, we are convinced that the people who have ignited this war in Sudan is the people of the ousted president Umar al-Bashir, who wants to come back after being, we were able to, through a revolution, to oust him over 4 years ago, back in 2019, after so many sacrifices and after him being in power for 30 years. So we've been able to oust him. Now he has still have his militias and he still has his power in the army. And unfortunately, he was the one who have created the vice president, the current vice president. So through his infiltration and people loyal to him in his party, in the army, and in the Rapid Support Force, they were able to ignite this war. And why is that? Because they cannot use the military directly, since the military seems to be superficially siding with the revolution. And at the same time, they are afraid of the Rapid Support Forces, although they have created it, but it turned around against them because General Hemeti has his own ambitions. and he is backed up by some Middle Eastern countries. I already said some of them. So the third party, the party of General Bashir, through his militia and his infiltrators, have ignited this war between the two, so that both of them kill each other, and then the militia and Omar al-Bashir's party can come back again and rule us for maybe another 30 years. So it's not only two countries, two parties. No, there is a third party, which is Sudanese, and unfortunately, there are so many regional and international players. And why is all that? Because of the huge wealth of Sudan. Now, this is a typical African story. So, and that's why I'm very happy being a part of this esteemed decorum that I'm attending today, and I'm honored to attend today, because now we can share what is happening in each one's country, so that when you talk about your country, you have me enlightened. And when I, as a Sudanese, tell you about my country, at least you will be able to be very careful not to fall in the same trap of the regional and international greed that, because like I've said, this is a typical African story. Wealth countries, wealth nations, huge amount of resources.
Sohail, sorry.
With that,
please.
I finish. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Really
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your contribution, and we really value it a lot. But again, for the interest of time and also to allow more people to contribute, then we also get to hear from each other. Allow me to send an apology from our other speaker, Zamzam, whose internet is really bad, but she'll be texting me her thoughts. But just before we move to the next session, I would like to read something from Hatab Shahid, who says, I thank Pan-Africanism interest in the Sudan issue. At this critical time, I am Hatab Saif Aldin from Darfur, and I have the honor to be one of the members of the platform. So due to poor communication, I'm not able to convey to you my intervention, which are as follows. The situation in Sudan is catastrophic, with a significant shortage of relief material and life-saving medicine, violation against civilians. I ask Pan-Africanism to form a pressure mechanism on the government of Sudan, African neighbors, and address the international community with the need to stop the war immediately and save the Sudanese people, and begin to have Sudanese to Sudanese dialogue to build the state and return refugees to their areas, to avoid civil war in Sudan, and also allow international organizations to provide humanitarian aid, especially in the Darfur region, which looks like the most, like the most affected area. And yes, that comment really caught my attention. And thank you very much for your submission, and even the thought of, moving beyond the network limitation just to put your contribution. I am going to move to the next session for the interest of time, but then we will definitely have another plenary for you to react. And so allow me to now bring in Ansel, who will talk about the collection point in terms of the solidarity actions that Africans Rising intends to take, and where these will be in terms of the countries, locations, and the partners involved. Ansel Langwa, you have the floor.
All right, thank you very much, Anne. I love how the conversations are going, and a little bit more about the solidarity action just in terms of the collection points for material donations. So I have some comrades, Yoal, I'm going to give you permission to talk first. They are going to be sharing the main collection points. Like I explained in the beginning, we want to be able to collect material donations from Africans in East Africa and take them to our fellow brothers and sisters in Sudan and those in the refugee camps. So Yoal, please, you can talk.
Thank you very much, and Brothers and sisters, I greet you all in the name of God and Allah. So the leading team of African Rising has informed us about the Pan-African solidarity, as we all know. Actually, it is our culture as African, to stand together when there's a problem. It is not the first time for us. My name is Yor, I'm from South Sudan. I'm African Rising members here in South Sudan. I'm also a coordinating volunteer here in South Sudan, representing the African Rising, and also I'm a team leader of Pan-African Peacemakers Alliance, which is PAPA. Today we are showing solidarity, or we are showing our support for our brothers and sisters in Sudan. As you may be aware, there was a conflict in Afrin this year between the Sudanese armed forces and the paramilitary rapid support forces. And I do really appreciate my friend, my colleague or comrade from Sudan who spoke before about the issues. We try actually to give us the full pictures about what is going on there. Actually, we all know actually what is there, but sometimes it's difficult when people do not take action on the issues that are affecting the people. So the crisis in Sudan has resulted in humanitarian emergencies, as we all know, and has negatively impacted many people, particularly children, women, and elderly people. Therefore, the African Rising, in partnership with various youth organization, or maybe I can say movements in different parts of the region, has come together, to show solidarity and see why is always not us, because we sometimes look into the Western countries as should be the reinforcers for our issues. And then now this is the Pan-Africanism that we are all yelling for years and years. I think it is an opportunity for us as a people, to come together and see what should we do for our people who are suffering in Sudan there. So Pan-African or Papa Africa, in Sudan has partnered with the Pan-African Rising to be the collection point here in Juba. If you are from South Sudan and you are hearing me, so it will be an opportunity for you also, to contact me, because to contact us and see how can we move forward with this cause. We decide, to stand in solidarity with the people of Sudan by providing resources and other humanitarian assistance, such as clothes, blanket, and all this. So here I'm trying to also, I'm urging you all also, to participate in the Pan-African solidarity action for Sudan by donating anything that you have, because giving, it is our culture. By then, we all know the cultures and also the civilization and the exposure that we all went through. When you go to the certain continent, they don't have that heart of giving as African. I think it is us now, it is our turn to show solidarity to our brothers there. So the collection point for South Sudan should be the Papa Africa office, which is located in Muniki JCC school, if you know Muniki very well. So the school, it is actually in the front of the road, like you are going to Mea Sawa, you know that side very well. And there is a signpost which it is a skill center school. When you reach the JCC school, and then from there you will see the signpost of the skill center, Suglibia, and then you can just reach out also to us by calling. There's some numbers that maybe we will just post them on, and also if you are on social media, you can just go there and see. So here we have a team that we are many, especially in our group now. We are more than like 19 people who are really willing also, to collect the material from different part of the city, and also we're still looking for other people, to join as well. And after the launching, because it is the most important part now, when we finish, and then we will have a meeting with the team, we allow, and we'll select some folks, to maybe 7 or 10 people who will be the coordinating team for this, plus the Papa team who are actually doing the work here at the office. To be able to also to alert you, it's not an easy thing, to move away and all the thing, but we have the capacity, to organize, and also, to reach out to people who are really willing to help. Because if you are human, because we all believe in God to, that if Sudan is suffering now in South Sudan, we are not actually breathing. As you know, that there's many refugees here who came to Juba, seeing Africa, and also they are suffering, and also they are yelling day and night, looking for people like us to help them, and also, to rescue them and talk to them as well. So my brothers and sisters, it is not my call. It is not my call alone. It is belong to all of us. So you should have to prepare yourself mentally, spiritually, and also you should have to be alert that if we are not ready enough to serve African, or to serve ourselves as African, no one else will gonna do. And my brother, you mentioned very well that it is an era of another colony now. So if we are not aware, this young generation who are coming up, to change the narrative, to change the mindset of those people, they thought that we are still in the past. They forget that we are actually we are not in the past. Actually, we are actually leading forward. So reach out to us. I will all we have all our contacts and the flyers, and then you can just talk to us and reach out to us. If you are in Juba and you are willing also, to volunteer, you're highly welcome. And then from there, we will take you through all the material that the team, the African Rising team, and its members agree to collect, and also to give to other people. So allow me to give an opportunity to other people, and thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Yoel. I have just listed in the chat box the details for Papa, so everyone can reach out to them if you find yourself in South Sudan. All right, so we have just a few minutes to the end of today's session. So I'm going to quickly invite John Bazira. Please share with us the details for collection, and so that others can take note. Thank you. I think if you can do this in 2 minutes, that would be helpful.
Thank you so much, Comrade Ansel. And we are honored to be a part of this solidarity action. And we strongly believe that this is a revolutionary statement for us to assert the fate of African people and our own descent, that we cannot leave any other persons to guarantee our dignity, our peace, and social justice. So I believe that this is a landmark to the rest of other practitioners and stakeholders elsewhere, to realize that it comes back to us to protect ourselves and protect our own people. As we all know the stories of our brothers and sisters in Sudan, only what we need is to put on their shoes and to ask what are they going through. We talk about social justice, we talk about peace, we talk about dignity, we talk about freedom and everything, but this is the right time that it is going into practice beyond the theories and the statements or the petitions. So we are glad to be part of this. And as a freedom movement, we are situated in Chireka. Our collection point is just opposite Kamuli Primary School, Church of Uganda. So to the comrades within Kampala, that is the capital city, to the comrades within Wakiso, to the comrades within Mukono and the nearby parts, we have ably deployed ourselves, our members and our team leaders to be able to reach out to any individual who would love to contribute or donate the materials as have been highlighted. So if you're in a position to send them to us, please do. But also if you're not able, but you feel that you are touched by what is happening in Sudan and you would love to take action against what is happening, most especially the social and the economic crisis that is happening with our people, please, you just give us a call. We have resolved with our team and members that we shall go everywhere those individuals will be. But however, as I close, we have also resolved to reach out to institutions like the religious institutions. So expect us in your churches, the cultural institutions, expect us there. We have also resolved to reach out to schools, different schools, can be secondary schools, universities, to spread this message and also to see a wider mass of the African people rising for the fellow brothers and sisters. So soon, we are also reaching out to the local organizations in Uganda and system grassroots movements to have them involved. And we also resolved that those who are able to collect these things in a minute time and we pick up, we shall do that. But also those who don't have the capacity to keep them, as long as they're able to collect them, we can transfer them. So we encourage you to reach out to us and to embrace this call to rise against the crisis in Sudan, and also to make a statement that we shall never allow the wars, we shall never allow crimes against humanity to prevail when we are silent. And to my spirit, I believe the brothers like Malcolm X, the Marcus Garvey, the Kwame Nkrumah, today they are the happiest that we are doing the actual work they wanted. I will beg to submit there. Viva peace, viva, viva justice, viva, viva human dignity, viva. Stay blessed. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, John. I don't know if we have Keith from the African Youth Commission here. I don't seem to see you. If you're here, please indicate. All right, I don't think that we have Keith here, and maybe what we are going to do, just to notify everyone that we are going to be here, we're going to be sharing all the details for the collection points, even those that have not spoken, and the countries in which these collection points are available. All right, so over to you, Anne. I think you'll share with us the last one before we move, and I'll put on the chat box the other details of the collection points where we don't have their representatives.
Thank you so much, Ansel, for sharing the collection point. And just before I call the next speaker, just to say, if I'm not organizing Africans rising work in the East African region, then I work with Uzalendo Africa based here in Mombasa, and we're a Pan-African organization. And so we are very happy and honored to be part of this solidarity action because it fits largely into our Pan-African program. And just to share the collection point detail, we are based at Tayebi House, second floor, Nkuruma Road, opposite the NSSF building or adjacent the KEPS building. And that is where the collection point for Mombasa will be. Of course, we are looking at having a larger conversation with African rising members from the coast, and I see quite a number on the call, so that we can talk about how we are going to run the drive. But for the interest of time, allow me to bring to you Dorothy Adebayo from the Resource Mobilization Department, who is going to talk about financial matters, right? And then also guide us through the process in which we can send in financial contributions, if not material contribution. Ms. Dorothy, you have the floor.
Dorothy, you can unmute. Okay, perfect.
Yes, thank you very much, and so I just want to thank everybody for really taking the time to be here with us today as we launch the Solidarity Action for Sudan. So just as Yoel and John, Anne and Ansel have been saying, it is time for us as Africans to really stand up in solidarity with each other. And also it was really good to hear from our brother from Sudan, giving us a lot of really good contextual information. So the Resource Mobilization Unit, in the chat, you're going to be seeing some links which are going to show where you can actually go and donate. So our channels are as follows. We have on the continent, we've got Orange Money, which is operating now in about 17 countries, which is really great. And then we have M-Pesa. So if you have an M-Pesa account, you can actually just go onto the number and then click and donate through M-Pesa. We also have MTN Ghana, I believe it's called Momo, which is MTN Ghana, which is also another platform that we're on, a mobile money platform. We also have our debit and credit card payments, which you can actually access through the link. Mercury, thank you so much for putting up the links in the chat. We have also recently been able to offer to people that we have to pay to and also to receive Bitcoin giving. So if you're a Bitcoin enthusiast, I think you can find the Bitcoin link there as well. Of course, PayPal, we have that as well as another channel. And for anybody who wants to find out information on the website, we have a donate page. So on that donate page, thank you for bringing it up on the screen. You can actually just click and go straight into whichever payment platform you want to use. There also are other ways that you can support. We're looking for financial because we have to pay for the logistics, the transportation, the collection. All those things are going to take some funds. So those who may not be able to give physically the materials, we really would like you to support by donating so that we can pay for the transportation and logistics. So this call to action really wants to ask you, if you can talk to your work colleagues, talk to your family and friends, talk to your church, talk to people who are in your school, alumni, anywhere where your networks take you. We would like you to share our posts because we're going to be posting on social media, and all it is just for you to click and share and reshare to your network. So thank you so much. I think that's about the payment platforms. As we're drawing to the end, I wanted to open the floor to say that if there's anybody who would love to pledge or start donating, I think this is the time. This is the time for us to now say what we are thinking that we may be able to do. Over to you, Anne. Thank you. And so.
Thank you so much, Dorothy. I was hoping we could, start practically sending in, pledges, pledges.
Yes, please, let's start practically. If we have any people who would want to donate materially, if you're already in, if you're in one of the collection points that I shared there, just to, there's African Youth Commission Nairobi as well. I'm going to share the details. So, but if you would like already to donate materially, please use the chat box to just pledge what you would want to donate. Could be a bag of rice. If you want to donate financially, you can also pledge, and we'll follow up with you. As little as $1. I mean, there's no limit to how much you can donate. Please just use the chat box to let us know if you have any physical, material, financial donations to give as we kickstart this Pan-African Solidarity Action for Sudan. So also, if you want to take the floor to give your pledge out loud, I think we have 2 minutes for this exercise before we go to the end. Please also just raise your hand if you want to, pledge just by talking. All right, thank you, Tobias. I see Tobias here says, my friends and I would donate 60 kilograms of Kenyan rice. Perfect, thank you, Tobias. So we are noting that, and the team would be definitely, we would follow up with you on that. Any other pledges? We can please write them. Also, I'll send our emails to the chat so that you can reach out also if you want to, just talk after about how you can support this initiative, and we'll be glad to help you.
Thank you very much, Ansel. Tobias, thank you so much. I think that's just a most wonderful start to this solidarity action. So can we invite anybody else? And is anybody's hand up?
No, I can't see anybody. And you can donate as little as one. Oh, there's somebody. Annette says she'll donate $50. Thank you, Annette.
That's wonderful.
All right, we have Sohel whose hand is up. Sohel, I'm just going to allow you to talk. Please carry on. Just let us know your pledge.
Yes, I can't say, well, God bless you guys. Really, God bless you. We have over 5 million people between internally displaced and refugees. And even those in some workplaces, there are gang rapes, there are so many atrocities. But this is, like I've said, it's a typical African story. So I just want you, if you don't mind, to link me with my people here in Kenya, since I'm stranded in Nairobi, but it's my second country now. So maybe I can add, we can, instead of 60, we can make it 70. But I need you to link me to them, please, my people here from Kenya. So instead of 60, make it 70, and please share their contacts so that I can contact them and offer my contribution as well. And I really thank you. And one more thing, if in case you want to have anything with the people inside Sudan, so then let me know so that I can guide you to some of the civil society movements who are working in those things inside Sudan. And I really appreciate, and God bless. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sohel. Thank you very much. And please, to the others who have not been able to pledge here, there are others who would prefer to come to us inbox. Please don't hesitate to reach out to us, and we continue to stay connected. We're going to send all of you post launch emails so that you can reply to them if you have any direct contributions that you would like to give. Over to you, Anne.
Thank you so much, Ansel. I think from my end, I will pledge 25 kgs of rice as well. But then allow me to take this opportunity to give to Kak. Kak, if you could just say your parting shots in half a minute, then we wrap up. Ricardo?
Yes. I'm busy. I told you that. So pardon. So what is your question? I was away. I'm busy.
Give
with
us your parting shots. Give us your parting shot and in 1 minute. And my apology for using Ricardo.
Thank you very much for organizing this. This is actually a very important initiative. Indeed, people here in Sudan are in need of humanitarian assistance. Anything small that you are capable of donating, it can have a good rewards within the Sudanese community. Sudanese are very good people. They are very nice people. They always stand. 500 million of Africans were in Sudan as a refugee. So Sudan is just like an app where accommodating everyone. Thank you for standing with them, and let you guys keep going. And maybe we can also having to coordinate you with different entities that can help you in this fundraising. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for all the panelists, even for Zamzam, who really struggled with the internet. And also thank you to all of you, for heeding this call and just coming to show Pan-African solidarity for our Africans, brothers and sisters. And Africa is not going to be built by any other person. it has to be built by us. And so if we have problems, then we actually solve our own problem the African way. And I think that's what Dr. Kwame says when he says, I am not African, because I was born in Africa, but Africa was born in me. And when we're talking about the spirit of Ubuntu, then it has to be seen into our day-to-day lives for us to live the actions of what Ubuntu calls us to do. And at this point, I would like to call this a close. And thank you once again, but please remember to follow us on our social media pages at Africans Rising on Facebook, on LinkedIn, Africans Rising, on Twitter, Africans Rising, Instagram, Africans Rising. But I am requesting that we open, our videos and do a memory photo. I think this would be beautiful. It would be nice to have all these photos, in remembrance of a day that we all came for solidarity action to stand with our brothers in Sudan. Maurice, if you could help me do a screen grab. I'm going to try to do one, but trust me, I'm very poor at that.
Yeah, but the thing is, those who are on the attendees can show the video. So.
Oh, no. Yeah. So it's just for the panelists?
Yeah. So what we can do is like we can promote them manually. Then we see. Let's do that.
Oh, no. Somebody's saying camera is locked. Oh, no. It would have been nice
to
have.
So if you're ready to be a part of this memory photo, just raise your hand. We're promoting you to panelists and we can do the picture, please.
Yeah.
All right, we see the hands. So we're promoting everyone whose hands are raised up. And yes. Let's promote as many as we can.
Oh yeah, and we'll share this photo on socials. I think we should, so that everybody sees their beautiful face there.
Yeah.
Hi, Nakuliwa Road, looking beautiful. You see why we needed to open the photos. We wouldn't see your beautiful smiles today.
Okay, it's going. We're promoting, so I think we still have.
I'm gonna put on gallery view.
Yeah, we have a couple of hands.
Kak, can you please open your video? Mazira, Soyel, Yuel.
Okay, I see many more hands. All right, 7 more hands. Okay.
I am trying to test my photo skills on the laptop. Gosh, it's terrible. That's why I thank God Maurice is
come
here.
To our aid so that we know that.
Okay. So we are good now?
No, we still have.
We still have a couple more people we're promoting. Just give us some time.
Good to see you, Madani, Bio, Garang. Dorothy, oh my God, you're looking nice. Yes. Yes.
Right. I think
high leadership, you all. I can't see Kak. Kak, where is Kak? You have refused to open your video, but your photo will serve as your video.
All right.
Oh, Maurice, you've taken one already?
No, that's not me. Maybe
I had a screen grab. Who was that?
Me, that's me.
Oh,
Backup.
Okay, I think we just have please if for any reason we're promoting, so Kofi Asante, I think it's because your hand is raised up. So if you can put it down, we keep doing it. And
yeah,
I think we're good to go now. So we're going to give like a very good Pan-African smile.
Let me do full screen.
Okay, thank you, Maurice.
Okay, so.
okay, Maurice, are you done? Oh God, I have taken.
So we're going to have
I've taken one.
Yes, I think we are good now. So we have had enough. Oh,
Maurice,
one
I'm
more.
raising my hand.
We are good, right? One more.
Okay.
Good.